But if you close your eyes,
hey cycle fans, it's Glenn Reiman here, the captain of Team Brink from Niagara Falls. It's the end of March, and you know what that means. It's time to start training for the 2017 race season. This video blog is going to follow my training, which includes everything from my diet, shedding some excess winter weight, to spin bike, and some on-the-road kilometers. I really want to stand on the podium this season, and this blog is set up so I can stay motivated. So let me fill in some of my stats and a little history on my cycling career thus far. I'm 28 years old, and I've been riding for 4 years somewhat seriously. I entered a race in August at the end of the summer. I knew absolutely nothing about race strategy or how to train properly. I had been riding a bike year-round though, and I wasn't driving at the time, so I was in pretty good shape. The race was absolutely awesome. Really well organized, and even though I was a total beginner, there was great event staff that explained away all my stupid questions. By the time I lined up at the start line, I was feeling confident. It was a 26-kilometer race from a rolling start. A long straight through the grandstands led to a hard right and straight up a sizable hill. I had not prepped for climbing whatsoever, but I slugged up the first run in the big ring. When I got to the top and assumed everyone else would be breathless and slowed down like me, I found I was totally wrong and immediately got dropped. From there the peloton split, and I was left in the back half. After a long way around the two right-handers and a straight section riding into the wind, I came to a downhill where I discovered I could pass about a dozen riders. Who knew? But taken from The Rules, which is a humorous collection of cycling do's and don'ts recorded by the Illuminati, I pedaled until I ran out of gear, then went into the tuck position. I was super pumped by how quick the descent was, and felt much stronger getting back on the gas after the hay bale lined easy right-hander, leading to the gentle incline before the finish line. That was lap 1. Now with 3 laps to go, I continued with my horrible strategy of smashing up the hill, being exhausted, and fighting my way back around the course. But on the 3rd lap, I noticed that the first peloton had slowed down enough from the hill that I asked a couple of guys to see if they wanted to form a breakaway and catch up. 3 others agreed, and we took off in desperation to reach that pack. I immediately regretted the decision. Right off the bat, the 3rd man jumped off the back. After pulling as much as I could, I moved to the rear, and the first guy kept going and going and going before finally giving up. Then there was 2, the man in front of me and me. He did a great job, led me out as far as he could before apologizing and relinquishing pole position back to me. So I turn around, the same distance from the pack behind me to the pack in front of me, about 800 meters. Like a total amateur, I make the decision to double down and go for it, all by myself. As you probably imagine, this didn't work. I failed horribly, and I was swallowed up by the pack behind me with spent legs. Now these guys were super cool, and although they laughed a little bit at my expense, they offered me a wheel to carry me onto the descent. I recovered on the way down, and finished the race with not too much more excitement. Except for the end. I went on a full out-of-the-saddle sprint from 200 meters out and managed to pass 3 guys. I know it's kind of a faux pas to pass people in the sprint in the end when it's not for the lead of the race, but this was my first race, and for me it was the Tour de France. Now again, like a total amateur, I didn't bother to run a cool down, just immediately got off my bike, walked over to my camping area, and proceeded to throw up everything I had ever eaten. After regaining my composure, checked the leaderboards and found that I was 33rd out of 103. Pretty good for my first race. And naturally, like an amateur, I decided that I had enough experience from that one sportif race to move up to Cat 4 next summer. I figured I would train all winter and see what happens. I found a few guys to race with, and I formed Team Brink. Only one man was able to actually race with me the next season, and he had never raced before. We entered 3 races together, and I entered 3 on my own. And it was a bloodbath. I lost every single race, except for the races that I raced with my friend where I was second to last. It was totally demoralizing, and I ended up injuring my calves in a desperate overtraining to try and keep up with these Cat 4 guys. Now, my cycling career was put on pause for about a year with what I would describe politely as a needy relationship. But I'm back to riding year-round again and feeling fit. So I'm actually just about to sit down and review the races available to me. This year I'll be running Sportif once again and focusing on training properly, networking, and building a proper team. I'm screwing around with my diet a bit, trying to lose just a few pounds. It was a great winter with beer and new friends and new experiences and beer and my beautiful new girlfriend's fantastic cooking and beer, and it's time to shed just a few. I'm currently 185 and I'd like to be somewhere around 175-ish. I'm 5'10", I've got 23.5-inch quads, and I feel like 175-ish would be a reasonable race weight. So there we go. There's the background. There's the goal, podium finish in a Sportif. Let's see how this goes. I don't know how often I'll actually be able to upload videos. I'm going to aim for somewhere around once every 2 weeks. The weather's getting pretty nice, so if I can get my camera going again, I'll get some outside on the bike video. Till then, follow me on Strava. It's Glenn Reiman, spelled like this. Subscribe if you're curious and want to follow my struggles. And since this isn't a daily blog, don't forget to smash that notification bell to be alerted the next time a video uploads. Thanks for watching. I don't have a sign-off just yet. Maybe leave an idea for one in the comments. And, bye, I guess.
But if you close your eyes